All right, here we are. Some fresh November industry heat just in time for the upcoming holiday season.
November rain.
Yes.
Rain of fire.
Mhm.
Rain.
Fire rain. I don't know what all that means, but yes. We're raining fire in November.
Me either, man. Fire rain is
Yes. Yes.
burns it up. It's
Screen
burning.
heat, anything goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, let's jump into the fire, Kevin.
That's what I was teeing you up, man. Teeing you up. I guess it worked.
It did. All right.
Roundabout way.
There you go. I'm J.L. Martinez.
Kevin Sharpley.
This is Screen Heat Miami, and we are brought to you by
Kajik Multimedia.
Chemical
Cinevision.
and the Miami Media and Film Market, which just released our brand new Orange List for 2025. If you haven't checked that out, it's on the socials at Miami Film Market.
You got to put the orange list.
Download your copy right now. Share it with your friends as a holiday present.
Put it on the website.
Yes, absolutely.
Put it on the website.
Already getting some early buzz, by the way, with some of those projects from MMFM, so we're excited.
We love that. We love that. Not of buzzy
Yes.
going on in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Take it back to the 80s.
Yes, we got to keep it local for the first story. And it looks like there has been an official update from the Miami Vice reboot, namely that they're starting to circle around a cast. I know we mentioned briefly in the last that Glenn Powell was being eyed for the titular role of Don Johnson's character, right? Crockett, Detective Sonny Crockett. But now it looks like there's been a pivot to another very sort of dashing up-and-coming star in Hollywood, namely Austin Butler is the name that is being bandied about now.
Elvis and Killmonger.
Yes, Michael B. Jordan and Creed.
Elvis and Creed.
Yes, we know he can fight at least. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. He can
if
throw
there
down.
Be any fisticuffs in this next movie, Michael B. Jordan can throw it down. Proven.
I can feel it calling in the air tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yes, and that is what is exciting because it's been repeated once and again that this will be a real throwback, unlike the last reboot, which was more set in the early aughts, I guess.
It was like a sequel. Yeah, the last one was
like a reboot, more like
reboot. That's right. Yes. I said a sequel, but it was a reboot.
But this one seems to be going back to the original, namely the pilot, and of course that famous song you just mentioned, and the very first season. So really giving you that early mid 80s vibe, which is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait till they officially do announce this cast and there's actual production dates. They obviously Universal already announced the release date, August of 27. So let's see how much of this actually gets shot in the 305, especially considering this throwback look to the 80s. They're going to need some classic Miami backdrops from the 80s. So let's see what happens.
Miami look, classic. Next story is taking it back to the 80s. Man, we're staying in that lane. Predator.
Yes, this is it seems like it's building up to be an 80s themed screen heat industry. No. We've got a couple of 80s IPs.
Yeah, we did this on purpose. When it goes back, we did it on purpose.
Intentional.
Man, Predator. I've been tracking these Predators. I saw Predator Badlands, which was amazing. And the latest Predator, oh my goodness, man. I saw it over the weekend. Woof. Oof. Man, I got to give it up. I have to give it up because, look, it's really hard. A lot of people talk about reboots and, you know, they're all rehashed and not original. And, you know, they are when you have the right director behind the helm. And this is the same director that did Predator Prey, which I saw before this, which was incredible. And both of them entirely different takes on the theme. This one, Predator Badlands, it takes the actual predator, alien, and personifies and really embodies that character. And it adds a family dynamic. Um, and, not to give it away, but it really does give a lot of insight into the other side. And not only the other side, but this kind of greater universe, expanding on the universe, literally, and taking it into another universe. And so, from what I understand, Dan Trachtenberg already has designs on what the next Predators are going to be. And so you can kind of feel these kind of intersecting new movies that he's done that then will reinvigorate or have reinvigorated the franchise. In A minus Cinescore, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean,
Nice.
it really has reinvigorated this franchise. And I have to say, man, that Fanning sister, because she played well, again, not to give it away, but she really has this dynamic range within the movie that helps to leverage it
Right.
and to, really move the story forward in different ways. And it really has me pining for the next one. So I have to give it up. Trachtenberg did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, just knowing that even if it's an established IP, putting some thought into the story and the characters, giving it that sort of shine as opposed to just saying, let the characters and the scares go out and sell this thing and the name brand, I think is definitely saying something, because you in this cluttered content environment that we're in between streaming and the big media companies and plus the new players coming out of Silicon Valley, Apple and Amazon and all the rest, Netflix, obviously, that quality over quantity may be the way ultimately.
I said it when HBO announced that they needed more content. HBO Premiere, they're always focused on getting not as much output, but right, high quality output.
Yes.
Netflix model, don't get me wrong, they need a lot of stuff for people to stay on there, but it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And then obviously you're bound to get some hits now and then, some prestige, some awards. But yeah, just the sheer volume of it, just to keep up with the demand is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're going to take it back. You're going to take it back again.
Yes. Back to the Future, but we're staying back in the 80s.
Yes.
For this next one. So, yes, another famous 80s franchise, which is technically a holiday movie. It's a Christmas movie. The original, if you guys remember, was set during Christmas time. The original Gremlins, which also had a sequel, Gremlins 2, which came out in 1990, about 6-7 years later, but getting also the treatment of not a reboot, but an extension of that storyline in a part 3. And they're bringing some of the original producers back as well. Which is obviously very interesting, And so Chris Columbus, who wrote the original film, is back on board to direct, as well as, a guy that, very little known director and producer in Hollywood named Steven Spielberg, who's also on board with Amblin Entertainment. So it's going to have maybe that 80s spin to it. So we'll see. But Warner Brothers, who has the film, is very excited about it. David Zaslav, I'm going to get that name right one day.
Zaslav
said in an investor call that he's very excited about the film as well, and kind of bringing that franchise back to life with some big Hollywood heavyweights behind.
I don't know which direction they're going, but they could take notes. They could take notes from Predator Badlands and Predator Prey.
Yes.
Take the IP in a different direction.
Yes.
Make it fresh.
Yes. Make it fresh, yet, obviously you're going to have some callbacks for the fans to the originals. But yeah, I think making it fresh and updated to today's audience while keeping the spirit of the characters alive. And it was always an interesting movie, right? That kind of treaded between horror, comedy, drama. It was kind of a mixed bag genre-wise, plus it was being a Christmas movie, the original one. So there was a lot going at you. in the original Gremlins.
It was
I
fresh.
it was fresh. It was different. I remember seeing it with, and it's funny because the movie was actually released in the summer. It wasn't released during the holidays. It was released in June, and the same day as the original Ghostbusters. I think they were actually both released, I believe, the same day. Believe it or not, how much we had when we were kids going to the theater on a typical opening weekend that you had to choose between Gremlins and Ghostbusters, right? But 84 was a huge year for movies.
Yeah.
And I remember being a little kid and going with my cousins and family to see it. And I was like, I couldn't stop talking about it. And everybody was like going home all freaked out, like, oh man, don't feed them after midnight, like, oh, it's like crazy stuff, like some gremlin will show up in your house as a Christmas present. So it was a lot of fun. So hopefully some of that fun will come back as well.
Do you think that Netflix is keeping it fresh?
Do I think Netflix is keeping it fresh? Well, they're definitely not going to stop pushing on the tech side of the business. That's for sure. Whatever that ends up meaning. But we always know that for years now, Netflix has been taking advantage of AI as far as its famous algorithm, right? And that only getting stronger. But it looks like Netflix is starting to really kind of move forward into certain ideas of AI generated content as well. I'm sure they'll use some of the same mantras as ethical AI, but particularly since Skydance took over Paramount, right? And David Ellison kind of laid down the new vision of the company about being a tech first company and using AI, to kind of move this company forward. I'm sure that was kind of a shot across the bow at Netflix as well, right? And so it looks like Netflix is leveraging its AI as it makes its way more and more into mainstream entertainment. This also came from an earnings report call, which said that AI will be a major focus for the streaming service. And so they mentioned that for years now, they've been using machine learning for the algorithm, the title recommendations, but they're also starting to use it a little bit here and there for production and promotional technology, as they said. So we'll see what that actually means in terms of the creative. But, knowing Netflix, again, because it's such a big numbers game for them, any help they can get from AI to churn out an extra 10 or 20 titles a year, I'm sure they'll take it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think again, my company, we use AI just on, team kind of interactability and um, maybe little small things here and there,
Right.
but it really has advanced so much in such a short amount of time. A lot of people talk about the Will Smith eating spaghetti from last year, and then you look at Will Smith eating spaghetti this year, and it really is Will Smith eating spaghetti. You can't really tell the difference. Um,
Right.
the issue, this kind of generative text
Text. Yeah. Yeah. Text to
to
video or whatever.
image
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
video is it's a little bit challenging
Right.
and challenging to get exactly what you want. I'm not sure in terms of kind of the bigger fare. I always talk about specificity and having the ability to have this total control, which is absolutely necessary when trying to hit deadlines and these kind of things. Also, for me as a director, I like to work with actors and have the ability to change the scene on cue and have that feeling and emotion, which who knows what's going to happen, but I just don't, I don't see having that ability happening
Right.
anytime soon.
No,
Um,
no, like for promotional purposes, sure. For the algorithm, sure. Machine learning, all that stuff, getting to know very intimately what your individual customer wants to see more of or less of, or, the same of, that's fine. As a production tool, to help kind of accelerate VFX and animation, obviously, the de-aging of characters, production faux pas, like famously, you remember years ago when we saw in the final season of
yeah, the Starbucks cup
Starbucks Cup, right? Yeah,
and Game of
before I
Thrones.
even said the title, you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, like erasing that little Starbucks cup. All those things, obviously are gonna accelerate into the industry. But as far as just AI creating stories and creating characters and doing all that kind of stuff, I would prefer humans do that. But with the right tools. But I think there's certain things that we just do better. And it's because we're not seeking perfection. We're seeking something unique to us, and a lot of the human elements that go into storytelling, I think,
The imperfections,
yeah,
really. You said perfections. It's the imperfections for
exactly.
me. As a writer, as a director, also producer. It's these imperfections that actually add to whatever the final product is. You need
Right.
these abilities, these moments that aren't so perfect. And how is AI going to do that? I don't know. It's yet to be seen. But I can tell you something that was perfect for me. This new Apple TV show. It's called Pluribus. Um, just amazing show. I think it has 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic numbers high, every metric. And I could see why. Because unique premise. The show is done by the creator of Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan. And I would not have expected Better Call Saul, which I love both of those shows too. But I wouldn't have expected this, which is kind of like a sci-fi-ish. Um, I guess you watch it, but um, it's a real, it's a take on human rumination. So
Wow.
far, they've only released 2 episodes, so I can only speak on the 2 episodes so far. But it stars Rhea Seehorn, who's from Better Call Saul, and
Right.
she is a writer akin to like Twilight or George R. R. Martin type of writer that's
Yeah.
kind of disenchanted with, you know, this whole kind of notion of what she's writing and all these things. And the world, the earth, gets sucked into this alien force. And she ends up being one of the last people for salvation. It's kind of like my project, The Beach Chronicles. It's like detective is like the um,
Right.
last one there for salvation, and his two buddies. But yeah. So she's like an unlikely person to kind of spearhead these efforts, and I mean, it's the uniqueness of it all, the look, the feel. Takes place in New Mexico, which I love New Mexico. Um, and then I'm just going to read something really quick from an article, um, because I noted these when I was watching the show. Two references. It says a global catastrophe takes place in the first episode, much like in The Leftovers, but with tones of Severance.
Hmm.
Two shows I love, and two top shows,
Yeah.
actually, critically praised shows. Just imagine mashing that up together. Maybe that was the pitch. Severance
That could have
meets,
been.
yeah, Severance meets The Leftovers, and you're already like, meets
Sure.
Breaking Bad. I don't know.
Meets Breaking Bad, exactly.
Yeah, and so you're already like, your brain is spinning from these, but
Yeah.
you could feel these intonations. It's lighter than both
Right.
of those shows. Well, I
Sure.
guess, Severance is cheeky, so maybe it's not
Right.
lighter, but definitely lighter than The Leftovers. But you feel The Leftovers; it's a little bit heavier on the
Yeah.
heavier side. The Leftovers. The show, I absolutely love it, and I'm not a binge person that watches things back to back because I just don't have that kind of time. But I had to continue, on to that second one, um, into was it 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday or something like that?
Wow.
Because I just had to watch it. And so
Yeah.
there's not many shows for me that are like that. Game of Thrones, we mentioned it, was one of them. So Breaking Bad, another one. But definitely it's a must watch. So watch it.
Yeah. I got to watch it now. Thank you for that. Because
Yeah.
I wasn't familiar with the show. So now that you brought it up, now I got to go watch Pluribus on
Yeah.
Apple TV.
You gotta watch it, man. A lot of people have watched the MJ trailer.
Oh, yes. I don't know if we can give reviews on a teaser trailer, but there's been a lot
The,
of reaction videos on the internet. That's for sure.
yeah. I mean, the fact that we're even bringing it up.
Yeah, the fact, yeah, this is, it's an April release. It's, Graham King producing with Lionsgate and Universal taking on the international distribution. Jafar Jackson, which is a relative, a nephew of Michael Jackson, the son of Jermaine Jackson, playing the role. Sounds great in the trailer, looks great, fantastic. As a teaser, it's a lot of visuals, a lot of jump cutting, some great Quincy Jones kind of narration right throughout. Really just to more hype up the fans and kind of generate this interest. But so far in the first few days, according to Billboard, 119 million streams of the teaser of Michael, which is a lot. It's definitely blows a lot of the previous ones. The Bob Marley one, which I think did like 60 million, which is hot, and a bunch of the other ones. Bruce Springsteen, just had one as well. All of those getting traction because they're such notable stars in the music world, but none, I think, to the level of pop culture global phenomenon of what Michael Jackson achieved throughout his illustrious career, right? Starting in the 70s with the Jackson 5, the 80s, going back to the 80s again, pop culture icon, Thriller, all the huge music videos, the MTV heyday, all the sort of going on into the 90s with some of, obviously, I'm sure they're going to touch on some of his personal drama as well in the latter years of his life and all that stuff. But, so much to pack into one movie. And I just think the teaser trailer just
It's
set
all
the perfect
packed in the
tone.
trailer.
It's all there. Yeah. Little
All
glimpses,
teaser, yeah. All
even
that.
a little Miles Teller hiding out in the boardroom was saying that, kind of in disguise there, hair and his
Yeah.
wig and stuff. So,
Yeah. Noted Michael Jackson's estate made $115 million last year. He's the highest paid
Wow.
dead celebrity.
Wow.
So,
well, someone noted that the X account where he dropped the trailer was started about a month after he died. So I guess that's part of his estate as well. The Michael Jackson Twitter page or X page now. It's got a few million. I'm sure it'll have hundreds of millions by the time that this promotional tour is done with the movie. But yes, that is a brand that continues to generate a lot of revenue for the family and the estate for sure.
a lot of gas. It has a lot of gas. So I have one more review, man.
Three reviews if we count the MJ trailer.
I'm gonna squeeze in one more review. I saw
right.
Frankenstein over the weekend.
What'd you think?
Guillermo del Toro is one of my favorite directors. He's definitely in my top 20. So Pan's Labyrinth, all the way to, because he also has a wide range, and so, Shape of Water,
right? Yeah, Oscar winning.
Oscar winning Shape of Water. This Frankenstein, Pacific Rim, which is sci-fi. This Frankenstein, I loved it with some reservations.
Okay.
It felt a little bit too long, is one thing. I know Frankenstein, the original movie, the 1938 movie, 1940 movie. It was a big inspiration for him. And that particular film helped to shape his journey. You could feel that. And this is from Mary Shelley's, an adaptation from, directly from Mary Shelley, the writers. I think you could have shaved 20 minutes from it. But I have to give it up for a Miami hometown favorite, Oscar Isaac.
305.
305.
Homie from the 305.
Yeah, he captured the depth. And, it's really who is the monster in this. And so you could feel this kind of, transformation and tension within, this arrogant creator. And then this take on Frankenstein and the arc turn, it really made this kind of 360-degree full turn, full circle kind of connectivity. And for me, that was impactful. Also impactful, Mia Goth. I believe she's married to Shia LaBeouf. She brought that drama.
I guess if you're married to Shia LaBeouf, maybe you have to bring the drama.
Yeah, she brought that drama. And Jacob Elordi, who plays Frankenstein,
right?
He really brought some emotional depth to that character. That I just didn't know where that was going to go, and even into the kind of second part of the second act, going into the beginning of
Right.
the third act. But yeah, he definitely deserves that praise. 10 hours a day in
Christoph
makeup.
Waltz was in it too, no?
Yeah, I was going to get to Christoph Waltz.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
I got ahead of myself.
yeah. Um, so 10 hours of makeup every day.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's like
After 10 hours of makeup, that's it. I'm tired. I'm ready to go to
that's
bed.
like Jim Carrey and the Grinch numbers.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. But he definitely related through all of that makeup. So
Wow.
Christopher Waltz definitely pulled the waltz. I mean, you bring him in your film, you're going to get some intensity, and
Oh yeah.
certainly he brought it. So the sum of all the parts certainly created a film that, although it's not my favorite Guillermo del Toro film, maybe it comes in at about 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Top
about
five
4.
though.
It's in the top 5. Yeah, 4 or 5. It's in the
There you
top
go.
5. Yeah. So yeah, go and
There
see
you
it.
go.
Or
Yeah.
Netflix, don't go and see it. Just turn on
Right. Stream
Netflix.
it.
It's one of the Netflix
Right.
uh other stuff. So it's
There you
not the
go. And
stuff, it's the other stuff that kind of
since we've been talking about it on my laptop, I'm sure my algorithm already picked it up, so it'll be right there in the home screen later.
yeah, there you go. It's the higher stuff. But Netflix has taken it higher, man, with this franchise. I'm not even sure if they knew that this thing was gonna just blow up the way that it did. But K-pop Demon Hunters just
Oh yeah.
wow.
It's huge. Yeah, I mean, we already talked about the numbers that it did. Obviously, number one all time on Netflix of live action and animated movies. And so, of course, like any true Hollywood hit, you got to have the sequel, right? So that's been announced apparently that there will be a sequel. It's going to be a minute because as mentioned in the Deadline article, animation does take time, even in the age of AI. We're talking about 2029, so
29, man.
3 years from now.
2029.
Also, because I'm assuming they haven't even fully written the script yet. I think this is more like,
But that's also why I said I don't think that they knew it was going to be as big as it. Otherwise, they would have already at least had this thing ramped up.
right. At least the story and yeah, but according to Deadline, they are in advanced talks with the filmmakers. So assuming that all that goes well and smoothly, and they get right into writing, they get a script that Netflix and Sony approve next year, go into production with all that stuff. You're looking at 2029 at the earliest. Still some speculation by then. Will there be a theatrical component? There was a little bit of a theatrical component with this one,
Ipso
which was kind
facto.
of fun for. Yeah, ipso facto, but I don't know if that'll be baked into the plans next time or if it'll be like, hey, let's drop it on Netflix, collect 400 million views, and then we'll do a weekend sing along or something. So let's see how
I
it
can't
goes. But
tell
yeah,
my daughter
definitely a lot of reference.
2029, man. She's gonna cry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know it's but between now and then they have the chance to give the original 1 billion views. Right? All the kids can just keep watching the original 100 more times. So
I guess.
there's that.
Sing along. They'll come up with some other. They have
So yeah,
a
we will
million.
see how it goes, my friend, in the world of K-pop and the Demon Hunters,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
try
They
to
repurposed it so many different ways, man. They'll find out something else.
they'll
So,
make it happen.
yeah. So, that's a lot going on. That's a
Oh
lot.
yeah,
I mean, the industry is moving. A lot of people are talking about problems with the industry, but I mean it's churning, man. I want to talk
yeah,
about coming up. I guess it's still too early to tell what's happening with this Skydance uh Paramount
right,
situation, but a lot of layoffs. And then I
right.
bet we hear what's going to happen with Warner Brothers by next week. Watch
Yes,
and
yeah,
see.
they are on the table. They are entertaining offers. So I'm sure sometime next year there'll be a lot of players. We mentioned Netflix; they're a
Said
player.
next year. I said next week.
You think next week? I don't know. I think they'll let these media companies and tech companies kind of sit on it, marinate over the holidays, and then see what happens next year, with Warner Brothers. So, but I do think that it will have a new home within the next 12 months.
Yeah, well, for sure it will. We'll see.
See.
All right, man. Well, you brought this one home.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'm
Home
Kevin Sharpley.
I'm J.O. Martinez.
And we will hear you.
And see you on YouTube.
That's right. Next week.
Yes. Like and subscribe. Dolly.
Boom.